visible?
Yes, sir. I thought you spoke something, but I heard the last part
Okay.
of it.
Okay. So am I audible clearly?
Yes, yes, yes. You can see your screen
All
as well.
Yeah. So in the last class, when we were talking about this program, pseudo, this one program for anagram checker. So we had discussed about this, but there was a little bit issue with this code. What the issue is, you see, when we are checking for C in S1, and if that C is not in S2, so suppose there are some repeating words. So suppose silent has two N's, and so this has two N and this has two N. And suppose one has only one N, but the other has two N's. In that case, this will become true. Mm. So yeah,
Yes.
so issue is, well, okay, in, and for here also in, yeah. So what you have to do is you have to drop. So every time you check this, you have to drop. So you have to say C dot remove, and what you have to remove, not C, S1 dot remove, not S1, S2 dot remove, because for each C in S1, you are iterating over S1 and you are checking if that C is in S2. If the C is found, then we'll remove. All right. So we'll say remove what? Remove that C and remove the first occurrence of that C. All right. So this command should be there, and it should be inside else. Yeah. Whenever it is found, remove that thing from. So over here also you have to say 1. What it is doing, once C is found in S2, it is removing C from S2 and it is removing the first occurrence of that uh, character. All right, so this was what was left, or I mean to say this was what I did not clearly convey. All right, so
Okay,
yes,
sir.
before we begin, let me show you the syllabus of the course. All right, so this is the syllabus of the course, and we have covered this much. All right, and today is the 15th class, and I wanted to complete everything in 18 classes. So uh, this will take some time, but I'll think that I'll try to complete it in 2 classes. But this is a huge topic in itself. It is a topic in data analysis using Python programming. I know a little bit about it, but not in very depth. All right. And the in this syllabus, I had not mentioned about algorithmic efficiency, but I think you should know a little bit about algorithmic efficiency. So tomorrow we'll discuss about algorithmic efficiency. So tomorrow we'll complete 16 classes, and then we'll have 2 more class. I guess next week, this 1st December week, I will not take class. So our next class will be on maybe 8th or 9th of December, and then 10th of December, and then we'll complete 18 classes. So in those 2 classes, we'll talk about these libraries. What are the inbuilt libraries which are very useful in Python? NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, and yeah. Will not go in Seaborn because that was not planned for, because Seaborn is a huge library. These libraries are also huge, but at least you'll get some idea about what these libraries are, and then we'll complete the course. All right. Any questions?
No, sir. No.
Right. So yeah, thank you. Okay, so we'll move to assignment 2. Just 1 minute. So you see, the first question is you have to write a program, recursive program, I guess, where you have to find n to the power p. So for that, you have to write the recursive formula first. what should be the recursive formula for n to the power p. So if n is the number and p, so let me make this a markdown cell. So it will be n to the power p is equals to, so yeah, it is equals to n times n to the power p minus 1. Right. So this is the formula. Okay. Sorry, it will be like this. Yeah. It is n times n to the power p minus 1. This is the recursive formula which we have to use. And there should be a base case. The base case will be whenever this power p minus 1 is 0, then n to the power 0 will be 1. That should be the base case. So two things you have to take care of. This is the first thing, the recursive formula. And the second thing is base case, which is for this case is n to the power 0 equals to 1. All right. So these are the two things which you have to take care of. So how will we do? So we'll create a function with, suppose, say power, and we'll take two values n and p, right? And before writing the base case, so let me say we'll write the base case later. But what we want to return? We want to return n times a call to this function power, and what we'll pass? We'll pass n and p minus 1. All right. What should be the base case? You see, if p equal to 0, then we should return 1, no matter what n is, or you can return n to the power 0, doesn't matter, it is same. So return 1, else return this. Is it clear? So this is the whole program, or just the function definition. And if you want to call this, so power uh, 2 pi 2 comma 3 should give you 16. All right. Any questions?
No, sir.
All right. So in the second question, you have a list of dictionaries. So this dictionary, sorry, a list, yeah, this list contains some dictionaries. And what do you want? You want to extract the dictionary and also the index of the dictionary, which has the most number of key value pairs. So I'll repeat the question. This question wants you to extract the dictionary and also the index at which this dictionary is at, for which the, so which dictionary? The dictionary which has the highest or most number of key and called dict. So when you say dict, so let me say, so if this is a dictionary, say d equals to, I'll just copy this dictionary. If this is the dictionary, so you know there's a function. You can get the keys, you can get the values, you can also get the items. So you can say dictionary d dot items. I guess it is items. Let me see if I'm correct. What's proper inverted commas? That's why. So what should I do? Just write the dictionary properly. Just 1 minute, right? Yes. So you can get the items of a dictionary. You can also get the keys. So I'll let print. Then we'll get all the things we want to print. And we can also get the values. So we can say print d dot values. All right. So you can get the keys, you can get the values, you can get the key value pairs itself. So the return value will be in the form of a list. So it will be a list. And when you have key value pairs, so those key value pairs will be in tuples. Now you can use len keyword. So if you use len keyword or this d dot items or any of the above, it doesn't matter. Then it will give you items. Then it will give you the number of key value pairs that dictionary has. So this will work for either you call keys or values or items. So in all the three cases, this len keyword will work. I guess it will also work for D. So if you have print len of D, then also it will work. Yeah. So it doesn't matter in which um, thing you're calling D. You just need what is the size of the dictionary if you want to say like that. So what do you want? You want to take which dictionary has the highest number of key value pairs or which is the maximum size dictionary. So you can work with a loop. What you can do, you can say for D in test list. Now you have the dictionary. So for each dictionary, you can get what is the length. So you can say length of D and you can also say size is equals to 0. So this is a test variable. If size is less than equal to len of t, update size. Now, in this case, there can be multiple dictionaries with the size which is has the same size. So suppose I have this dictionary which has 4 size. You can have multiple dictionaries of the same size. So instead of making it a integer, you can make it a list. So size is a list and it will take the value and it will append to that list. So what I will say size dot append len of d. All right. So first let me do this and we'll print size. All right. Mm, can somebody help? What did I do wrong? Less than equal to. Okay. So yeah. So when you say this, then we have changed the size to an list and you cannot say list. So we'll just append the value to the list and then we'll see what happens. All right. So we'll just append the size of the list. So the first dictionary is of size 2, the second dictionary is of size 4, and the third dictionary is of size 1. You can get the maximum value of the list. So you can say max size. In that case, you will know that the maximum value is 4 among the size. So size is a list which has elements of the size of individual dictionaries in this list. Now you can also get the index of this 4. How can you get the index of this 4? You can use uh, uh, what do I say? You can use the
Index.
function called index. Yes. So size dot index, and you can pass this value maximum size. All right. And in this case, you're getting, so I have to print it. So you'll get 1. Now what you want this is the index of the dictionary which has the highest or most number of keys. You just want to get that dictionary. So what you do, you say test list and you know this is the index. So you just copy this and index it. So you will get the dictionary and which dictionary you know one is the index. So second dictionary. So you can just say print and copy this thing and I'll have f string and I'll say so this is the index this plus 1, and what is the dictionary? This is the dictionary. This is what it wants, na? So second dictionary has a maximum key 4. So it doesn't want the dictionary, it wants the size. So maximum size. Okay. Undetermined string literal. Should I store it? Hmm, let me store it. Index equals to this. Yes, that was the problem. And you say index plus 1, comma, this it will work. What is the issue? Okay, okay. I don't have a inverted comma close. Yeah. So second dictionary, and you can say sep is equals to nothing. Since second dictionary has maximum keys, that is 4. Okay. You can do it in many ways. I have done it like this. You can do it in many ways. All right. So this is what it wanted. Now you just have to make a better program. I'm just showing how you can extract the dictionary which has the maximum keys and the index of that dictionary. So to make it a program, you have to write it properly. All right. Any questions?
No, sir. No.
Okay. So over here in this question, it is saying that given a list, perform split on vowels. So you have to create a function which accepts a string and then it will return a list similar to what split does, but split only. So there is a function called split as dot split, and it takes an argument which is a string, and whatever string you pass on that character, s string will be splitted. So it will be the elements of the list with that character removed. All right. I hope you know what split is. So we'll have to create a new function. So I'll say split string and we'll come back. We'll come back to this function. Just we'll say pass for now. All right. And from the input, we want an input from the user. So I'll say s is equals to input. I'll just say input. I'll not give some message. You can do that. And you can say print. We'll call this function split string and we'll pass this string. So this function requires an input and say s. All right. So this is what it will look like. You can also define a main function. I'm not doing it. In the last class, we have talked about how to write a proper program. Over here, I'm just discussing the approach to the solution. All right. Now you see, you have a string to this function. And if you remember in our last class, so I have the assignment open here. We had used something like this. So where is it? This thing. So you can say if I in this, then do something. So similar to that, we can define vowels. All right. So we can say vowels equals to, and we'll say A, E, I, O, U. Now, you see, we don't want to modify the string which the user has passed. All right. We don't want to do that. So I'll not change the string. So I'll not do s dot lower instead. And since the vowels are only 5, so I'll also write the capitalized vowel. So A, E, I, O, U. All right. You can do both. You can do the lower thing also and then check and then pass the string, but this will also work. So both the things works. Now, how will this work? So what will you do? You see, you have to extract characters from this string and stop whenever you get a vowel or whenever you encounter a vowel. Now, whatever string was there before this vowel, you have to save it in a list. So you require two things. You require a list. So I cannot say list. I can say list split split, which is equal to an empty list. So what this list will do, it will store the substrings. So whenever you break the string, I'm telling that a substring, and where will you break? Whenever you encounter a vowel. And I'll say substring. So since I've used the word substring, so I'll say substring is equals to empty. So this substring is currently empty. Now what we have to do, we have to traverse or iterate over this string. So I'll say for C in S, what should I do? First of all, we have to check if this C is in vowel. So I'll say if C in vowels. All right. If this C is in vowel, what you have to do, whatever the substring is, you have to store it in the list. All right. So you'll have to say if substring is not empty. So you have to say substring string is not equals to empty. Either this or you can just say if substring, because if it is empty, then it will become false. So both of the things you can do. All right. If this is not empty, what do I want to do? I want to add this. So whenever this substring is not empty and we have encountered a vowel, we want to add this substring to the list. So I'll say list split dot append. And what do I want to add? I want to add this substring string. Now, when I do this, then I have to clear the substring. Why? Because suppose the input is, so I'll write just here. Suppose the input is this is a test message. All right. So you see what this C will do. First, it will take T, then it will take H. Whenever it encounters I, we have to, before that, we have to capture this T and H and store it somewhere. We will do that. We have not implemented it. Suppose we are doing it. Now, whenever this I is encountered, this if will become true and it will check if the substring is true or not. So what does it mean? Suppose the very first statement starts with I, and when you split at this initial condition, there is nothing to store. For that only I have mentioned if substring. It is not important because when you store an empty substring, it will become just none character in the string. So it doesn't matter. But suppose this string starts with a vowel. In that case, this if is required. All right. So for now it is not. So all right. So whenever this I is encountered, we are storing the substring. So T and H is stored in this list split. So that is why I'm using append. So whenever this is encountered, it adds to that list. Now, whenever it is encountered, we have to clear the substring because we'll have to take the next characters. That is why I'll say substring equal to empty. All right. But if or else not here. Yeah, here. So if C is in vowel, then do this. Else just add the substring. So adds the character to the substring. So you will say substring plus equal to C. All right. So this is what we want. We want to add the character to the substring when it's not a vowel. And when it is a vowel, we will add that substring to the list and clear the substring. Okay. So I hope this works. So let me see if this is working or not. All right. I hope this works. No, it didn't work because we did not have a return statement. Return. What do I have to return? List split. So I'll just paste it and we'll see. Yeah, it worked. TH and I is not there. S, then underscore, then I is encountered, then I is not there. Again, S underscore. This A is a vowel, so it will be splitted, and then T, this thing will come. E is encountered, therefore it is not there. ST underscore M, E is encountered. SS, A is encountered, then G, and then E is encountered, and nothing else. Right? So this is what the program wants. Any questions?
Not about the logic, sir, but in the if condition, always I used to write something. If substring is not equal to 0 or the length of
Yeah,
substring is greater
yeah,
than 0, something like that.
yes,
Here he
yes,
did not mention any condition. So how this
yes.
will?
Actually, zero, none. So not this, none, or you say empty substring. These are all false in Python. Okay. These are all false in Python. So if you say print, print if 0, so see what it happens. All right, it should have something, I guess. Just 0. Okay, just 0. And it is printing 0, but I want to see if it is a boolean or not. So what should I do? I'll say like this: if 0, then print inside 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 if, else print inside else. All right, so you see this 0 is actually, so true and false when you do. So 0 is actually false and 1 is true. So in binary coding also it works like that. So whenever it is 0, it is off, and whenever it is 1, it is on. So it is like that. So you see 0 is false. That is why we get else. Similarly, if you have none, so I guess none will work. I don't know if none will work or not. Yes, none is also false. Similarly, if you have an empty substring, so you are not giving anything, so it will be false. All right. All these things are just false. So if you give an empty list, I don't think empty list will work. You have to write len of empty list. But let us see empty list will work or not. Yeah, empty list is also working. All right. So whenever you have a thing which is
But
doesn't exist.
if that's printing else inside else,
Sorry.
the empty list.
Yes, yes. You see the confusion is here. So when this is false, so if something is false, the condition else will be printed, right? So if I'm say 2 is greater than 1, so this is false, right? Okay,
Yes,
2
yes.
is greater than 5. So it is false, then else will be printed. So whenever this condition is false, else get printed, right?
Okay.
So when you say
Now,
if 0, then if false, then else is printed.
okay, okay, sir. Okay, got it.
All right, so you are just avoiding a comparison. You're not doing a
Mm-hmm.
comparison. It is saying if it is so. So in yesterday's class also, I told you that instead of 0, you give any number. So it is just say minus 100. This will become true. So 0 is only false. Otherwise, it is true. So yesterday also I mentioned this.
Mm-hmm.
Only 0 is false. Otherwise, every other number is true.
Okay, sir.
So this is true for Python, and I don't think this is true for other languages. I don't know. I have to check. All right. So the
Okay,
next
sir.
question is, write a program that takes a list and returns the list after removing all duplicate values with original order reversed. All right. So you see, first of all, you have to remove the duplicate elements and reverse the list. Mm, You can just remove duplicate elements very simply. So suppose this is so I had a list. So this is the list. Where did I create a list? Yeah, this is a list. All right, I'll just remove this and I'll say I have a list, which is this. So you see this is a list. Now, if you want to remove duplicate elements, so this is not a good example. Let me just make a list. A is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, comma 3. All right, so this is a list. And what you want is you want to remove the duplicate element from the list. You can do that very simply using set keyword, or you can just convert it into a set. So you can say print set A. When you do that, then all the duplicate elements are removed. And you can convert this back to a list. So you can say list set. All right. Okay, one more. Yeah. So you are just removing the duplicate element by converting it to a set and then converting it back to a list. Now you can use the reverse keyword, but this is not a correct way to do it. I'll tell you why, but you can use the reverse reverse. I guess this is a function. I don't know. Reversed. Then you make it a list. Let me see if this is working. All right, so it is working. So what did I do? I'll write it again. Yeah. So you see, first I had a list. I printed the list. So this is our list with some duplicates. I made it a set and then back to list. So I have a list with no duplicate elements. Now what I did is I used a reverse function which reverses the element in a list, or it can also reverse in a string. Then I again converted back into a list. So I have a list with the reversed uh, elements, but this approach may be wrong. Why? Because you see, this set is not uh, what should I say, ordered. So it is not an ordered data type. So it might happen that your ordering changes. So over here it has some ordering. So after making it a set, the ordering can change. And if it is happening, then your solution is not correct. So this may not be the correct approach to tackle this problem. If this thing was not there, with original order reversed, then this solution would have been proper. So till this point would have been proper. But since it wants the order to be maintained in the reverse order, then this is not the correct way to do it. How will we do it? Let us see. All right. So what we do is we'll make a function, say def remove reverse list. All right. So just randomly I have picked a name and I'll see if it requires some uh, inputs or not. So before that, I'll have an input list. So suppose I'm passing this list itself. Right. I'll say this is the list and I'm passing it to this function. So I'll say print remove reverse list and I'll say a. So it requires a list. So I'll say L1. All right. So it has a return statement. It has a return value, which is what we want. A list with removed repeated elements and reversed. So this function should do both. All right. So I'll remove pass. Now you see, first of all, I want the list to. So I will iterate over the list. So I'll say for I in L1 and I'll make one empty list. So I'll say L2 is equals to empty. All right. Now if I in L2. So if I not in L2. So if I not in L2, I'll do L2 dot append I. All right. Else I need else. No, I don't need else. Yeah, I don't need else. So this is what it is. So let me just see what it is doing. So I'll say return L2. Yeah, I hope this will work. Yeah, so it is working. So we have removed the repeated elements. Now we just have to reverse. So we'll use the reverse keyword reverset and then I'll make it a list. This is a proper solution to the problem. Why? Because we're maintaining the order. All right. This set may not maintain the order. Any questions?
No, sir.
And one more thing, if you don't want to use this reverse keyword, you can do that using for loop. So how will you do that? You see, let me show you. So if you don't want to use this reverse keyword, how will you do that? So I'll just say L3.
We can use the step, start, stop, and step, and
So it
minus
is
one.
no. Yeah. That can be done. Yes. Start, stop, and -1. Yes. Thanks. I was thinking something else. Yeah, that would be done. Okay. So we have to write a function that accepts a dictionary as a argument. So it accepts a dictionary as an argument. If the dictionary contains duplicate element, it should return an empty dictionary. All right. And then otherwise it should return a new dictionary where keys become values and values become keys. This is not difficult. So you see what we want. So I'll just copy this dictionary and that, and I'll paste it over here. So I'll say D equals to this, and I'll increase the length of this dictionary. So E equals to, not equals to, I'll say 2, and then EFF is 7, right? And I'll make one more dictionary. So this is D1 and I'll say D2. I'll copy this and I'll say 2, 4. Yeah, I'll say this is as 5. All right. So we have two dictionaries. One has repeated values or duplicate values. The other does not. All right. So we have two dictionaries. So I'm avoiding the input thing. So the user will input. So I'm avoiding that thing by defining the list here. Sorry, the dictionary here itself. But in your program, you should have an input statement. All right. Just for solving the problem uh, quickly. Now, what does this want? You have to define. Let me make a. What should I name it? Remove dict. All right, and it accepts a dictionary. So I'll say D. I will come back to it. So I'll say pass, and I'll print remove dict. I'll pass first to D1, and I'll just copy this and paste it, and I'll say D2. All right. So what is the returns of this? So it will return two different stages. So if the dictionaries has duplicate element, what we should return? We should return an empty dictionary. Otherwise, it should return a dictionary which has swapped the places of keys and values. So let us do it. All right. So I'll remove pass from here. And how will you check if a dictionary has duplicate values? Any suggestions? How will you check?
We can, let me check my course if I have already did
Sure,
something.
sure, sure. Ashok, do you want to pitch in? How will you check if a dictionary has duplicate values? You can speak if you want.
I have iterated, I have taken all the values and iterated over everything, taken the first value and compared with all the others.
Okay, so you have created two loops. So first for the individual element, so you will take this and then compare with all the values. Therefore,
Mm.
next you will take this and compare with all the values. There are two
Yes.
loops in your code, right? You don't need that actually. Why don't
Mm.
you need that? You see, what do you want to check? You want to check if it has duplicate values. Set actually helps you to do this. So what I want to do, you see, I'll just say dict or d1 dot values.
Okay, I think
So
maybe we
just
can just take the length
just
of
one.
this.
Yes,
Uh,
yes. One minute, just 1 minute. Hello. Yes, sorry. So I was saying that you can just take values and take the length of this. Not length, you can just. Okay, so when you print this, let me show. So values, and this will be parenthesis. So you have a values as a list. You can make this as a set. All right. When you make this as a set, all the duplicate values are removed. Now you can take the length. When you take the length of this, you get 5. All right. Similarly, you can take the len of just the this d1 values.
Or dictionary
You get
itself we can.
6. You can take dictionary itself, but over here you need values because you want to make it a set. Over over here you cannot just
Yes,
say
yes.
d1. So yeah, and now you can just check if this is equals to this. If this is equals to this, or if this is not equals to this, then you can say return empty dictionary. So you have to say if this thing, you have to say d not equal to this thing. All right, and again you have to say d. And if this happens, so if this is not equals to this, I have to return an empty dictionary. All right, so just curly braces is empty dictionary. All right, so this is one return. If it is not the case, then how will we do? If suppose this is not true, then what we have to do? We have to swap keys and values. How will we do that? Any suggestions? I guess you have taken two loops again and then taken the keys, and what did you do? Ramprakash, you want to speak? You can speak.
So I have used a while loop, and I have popped one item, and then I have appended to. Actually, I forgot. I need to read this again.
Okay, so you see, you can actually iterate over the dictionary. I hope you know that. So if you say for I in a D1, and if you say print, first let me show you what it does. So what it does is, okay, over here it is just printing the keys. Not, yes, it is just printing the keys. But you can actually extract both the key value pairs if you give a tuple. So if you say I comma j, and when you say I comma j, then okay, why? Okay, you have to say dict dot items. Why items? I'll show you. You see, when you say d1 dot items, then you get the key value pairs in a list, and all the elements of this list will be tuples. So when you say I comma j in dict dot items, what are you doing? You are extracting the first tuple, then the second tuple, and then the third tuple, and so on. So when you print it, so you're just getting 2, A2, B3, C4, D9, and so on. So this is just iterating over a list, and each element of this list is what is a tuple of the key value pairs. All right. All right. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. Now what you can do is, you see, you have I and J, right? You have I and J. You can make a new dictionary to store J comma I, right? Not J comma I, but I'm just suggesting you can just give values as J and keys as I. So this you can do that with, do it with using comprehension of dictionaries. So we have done list comprehension. You can also do that with dictionary comprehension. You can say J is to I, and you can just say for this, and return. You'll say return. So what this will do is it will make a dictionary which has values, sorry, keys as j and values as I for all I comma j in this. So in this iteration, so all the iterations, it will take I and j and just swap with g and I. All right. So I guess this will work. Let me see. Yes, it is working. So 2 is here, E is here, 3 is here, B is here, and so on. Moreover, dictionary doesn't have ordering, so this is okay. There's no issue with the changing of the uh, key value pairs because dictionary is an unordered set of data objects. Yeah. Any questions? So if you don't want to use dictionary comprehension, you can just do it over here. So you have to see if what is the keyword. I guess add is a keyword in dictionary. So you can say add function in Python. I guess add is a keyword in a dictionary. How to add items in a dictionary? Okay, you can just say yes, dictionary, then the index, and you can say the value. So that also you can do that. So just define an empty dictionary. Suppose over here I say D3 equals to empty dictionary, and you can say D3, you can say J equal to, I guess equal to, right? Yes, it is equal to I. And when this happens, just print D3, and I'll just comment this out. Okay, sorry, J. Now it is working. You see, you are getting the key and then making it, sorry, you're getting the value and then making it the key. And for that, you are getting the keys as the values, and then you are getting the dictionary. So here I have not used dictionary comprehension over here. Any questions? Or do you want to go back to your code and see what you have done maybe?
Yes, but one issue I had during this problem is because this dictionary is not ordered. Every time I call this dictionary, the sequence is it's getting different. So I thought using for loop is difficult because if I go one by one, every time we call this dictionary, the first item will be something else. Say for example, the first item is a comma 2, and the second time I call this dictionary, the for loop runs, the second position may be something different. It may not be b comma 3, maybe it is like c4 or d8 or whatever it is. So I thought this positions will jump, so I thought this for loop will not work, but I think
So
this is
how
this.
did you do without for loop? Or you used
I
pop,
just
right?
popped.
Right.
Yes, yes.
That can also be done. Yeah, not an issue. You can just pop it. Yeah, that can also be done.
I was thinking that I cannot use for, because I initially used for loop, but I found some issue that after taking an item, the length of the dictionary is changed and it cannot run the for loop forever. So it was.
Why the length will change? Length shouldn't change. Why will the
Uh,
length change?
I just remember this error, but previously I used for loop. Later I thought okay, maybe we can use this
No, but you are
while.
correct. You are correct. See, the order will change, but the order doesn't matter. So that is okay. But I'm
My,
thinking why you are saying the.
my concern is, for example, if we take when the first time when we call this d1 items, it will return a2 b3 c4. The second time we call, it may return b3 a2 c4, and then again we the second entry will also be a2, and there may be some issue
No,
on this.
no. I'll tell you one thing. When you iterate over an object which is iterable, all right. So it will never repeat one item. It will take that item. So it can take randomly from this list any item, but it will not repeat. So it will just take this and then this. It will not repeat. Why will it repeat?
Okay, okay. Only if we call this d1 dot items again after doing somewhere else, and then only this order may get changed. But once we start this for loop with this d1 items, it will get once and use that as a reference for the till the
You
end of
see,
this for loop.
when you say d1 dot items, it becomes a list, and list is actually
Hmm.
ordered.
Okay, 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 okay.
All right. So the sixth question. So you see, I have, I don't know, why I did this. Sixth question and 10th question are very similar questions.
Yes,
Both are
yes, yes.
using both are using the same search strategy. So if you use binary search, so over here I have told you come up with a reasonably good strategy. So it is difficult. If it is difficult for you to come up, you could have checked the internet and you will see that binary search is a very good strategy. And when we talk about algorithmic efficiency tomorrow, you will see that the computational complexity of this algorithm is log n, and you will see what it means. All
But
right, just let.
I understand. I mean, the 6 and 10 are similar, but I thought 6 is for numbers and 10 is for characters, I mean, alphabets.
Yes,
I thought
that
like
can
that.
also be. Yeah, yeah, that can also be done. Just my something has error. Okay, let me see. All right, then we'll meet after 7 minutes. Okay, we'll meet at 7 o'clock. I'll see what the issue is and then we'll come back. All right.
Okay, okay.
So I hope you are here. I started
Yes,
talking 1 minute early. Yeah. So all right. So the next, yeah. So what are we seeing? You see, you have to play a guessing game, and this game is actually the computer is trying to guess your number. So what number you have thought of, the computer will try to guess. So there can be many strategies. In fact, I have listed down two strategies, but a very good strategy for like something like this is called binary search. And how does it work? It is better if I show you some diagram. I'll say binary search. So you see how does it work? You have a list, and what you will do is you will. So we have discussed this actually in our first class when we were talking about um,
yes, I
dictionaries,
remember
English,
starting a book
English
from the
dictionaries.
middle page and a
Yeah. So when we
dictionary
start,
and mhm. Yes, sir. I
yes,
remember. I also use the same in my answer, my assignment answer as well.
yes. So what we do is we actually open the middle of the book, and if we see that the target is there in the middle or not, if not, then we ask questions. And before that, the list should be sorted. This is important. So what is the question? You have to say if that element. So if it is values, so if we have values from 0 to 100, then we ask a question, the target value, if it is greater than what we are saying or not. If it is greater, then we'll move to this section. So suppose the target value was over here, it is 23. So we are saying the middle is 16. So the next question will ask if it is not 16. So like in the number game, so suppose these are the numbers available to the user and the number the user has guessed is 23. So what we'll do, we'll take the extreme points. This is 0 and this is 9. We'll take the middle. So we can either take 4 or 5, but this strategy it is saying that take 4. So when you implement in it code, you have to think whenever it is a fractional value, what you should take. So over here it is taking the floor. So it is saying is 16 your value? So the user will say no. Then the program will ask if this value is lower than or higher than your value. So the user will input that this is lower. So whenever it is lower, then we have to update the lower to this value +1. Obviously, this is not the value, so we'll say +1. So lower is 5 now and higher is 9 now. Again, we'll take the middle. So it will come out to be 56. Again, we'll ask the same question. If this value is your target value, if not, whether it is higher or lower. So since 23 is lower than 56, it will say higher. Then we'll move higher to this -1. It comes over here. And again, when you take the middle and we are taking floor, therefore we'll hit the target, which is 23. So this is what you have to implement in code. All right, for this problem. And for this problem, you have to do the same thing, but instead of, so in this problem, we have just numbers. So you don't have to index in the array. Over here, you are saying that I start from 0 to 100. I'll divide and come in between. So 50, I'll say. So you're not indexing in that array. You are saying that this is, so the array and index are same. I mean that what I'm saying is I for I in range 101. So, and I'll say print. All right. So this is your actually list. These are the values available to the user. So over here, the index and elements are same. So you don't need to bother about what is the element at that position. You can just give the position to the user. All right. So if you are at 50, you can say is 50 your number. You don't have to index because that is what the game is. And suppose the user is saying no, it is lower, then you update the lower. So from there you have to come over here. All right. So this is how this will work. You can implement this using either recursion or you can do it using for loop. It doesn't matter. You can do this using for loop as well or while loop maybe. All right. For loop will be difficult. You can do it using while loop. Over here, it is specifically mentioned that you have to use recursion. That is what it is different in both the questions. Otherwise, both the questions are pretty much the same. So do I to uh, go through this solution, or is it okay?
For this one, seventh question, I think it's okay, sir. Yeah, it's not
Sixth,
so.
sixth question. Sixth question.
Sixth is okay, okay, yes.
All right. So the seventh question is you are required. So over here, we will learn a new um, thing which we have not discussed. So it is very difficult to discuss everything. So I'll show you one more part of sorted um, function. All right. So before going to this question, suppose I'm using sorted function. All right. And I have a list. Say this is the list. List one equals to this is the list. Right. And I'm saying sorted list one. Now you see what sorted does. Achha, before that, uh, suppose I have one more list. I'll make this list two. I have list one, which is same but doesn't have this tuple form. It is just some strings. All right. This is what list one is. All right. So this is what list one is. So when you sort, you see what it is doing. It is actually arranging it in alphabetical order. All right. So it is taking a first John. So actually, I should rearrange this for better clarity. And I'll say Arjun. Now you see it is just sorting it using alphabetical order. Now when you do the same for this list too, again I'll do some rearranging. I'll pass one more list, say Arjun. Arjun, comma 20, comma 80. Right. Now when I say list two, just do it over here. So again, you see these elements in the list are tuples. These are not just strings or numbers or something like that. So what this list two sorted will do, it will just take the first element of the tuple and sort it. This is what it will do. You see? Okay. Why Arjun is not coming? I have not run this, I guess. Okay. Yeah. So you see what it did is it just sorted in the first element. It did not bother about the elements in the second position or third position and so on. So there is some documentation. If you go in the documentation of Python and see this function sorted, then you will come up with more ways to sort. So you see, there are some more ways. So there is one iterable. So we are passing the iterable. List two is an iterable. All right. There is something called key. We'll come to this key. But one more thing is their reverse. So when you say reverse equals to true, it will do it in reverse order. Reverse equals to true. Then it will sort in the reverse order. All right. Now there is something called key. What this key is this key actually takes a function. All right. This key actually takes a function and this function returns the element in which the sorting should be done. So what do I mean by that? So you see, suppose I have a function called def I'll say index. All right. And then I'll say return. It will accept something. So it will accept x and it will return x of 0 or x of 1. All right. So this is what this function is. What it does, it just takes one element, whatever it is. So we are assuming that it is some iterable because we are indexing it. So we are assuming that it is some iterable and we are indexing in that iterable. Now I will do is I will take this sorted and I'll just remove reverse for the time being and I'll say key equal to this function called index. All right. And I guess I don't have to say x. I know I don't think. Okay. Let me see if x is required. No, x is not required. And index, this parenthesis is also not required. Yes. So you see what we are doing. We are just passing this function as an object to the key and we are saying take the first element from these tuples. So take this, then this, then this, then this, and then this, and then sort it. So this is what it is doing 17, 17, 19, 20, 20, 21. Similarly, you can say sort at second elements. So when you do that, you will see 80, 80, 85, 90, 91, 93. And similarly, you can say sort at first or 0th position. So it will do what we were doing. Now you can also do, so I have not come to the question yet. I'm just discussing sorted, but you see, you can do this using lambda function as well because we don't require this function. We don't need this function, so we can use lambda functions. LAMDA lambda, 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 lambda x such that x of 1. When you do this, then it is sorting in the first index. It is same as this. You see, we have just given the name of the function and here this anonymous function called lambda. And it is just saying take this individual element. So it takes 17, takes 17, 19, and then sort it. Is this clear what key is doing?
Yes, sir. Yes. But this key
Now,
is not for all the functions. It only for sorted. We are giving
no, no,
which
sorry, continue.
this key is a specific keyword for only for this sorted function, right?
No, this key. So when you go to the documentation of other functions also, there are a lot more things. So this key can be
Oh,
encountered in other also. But I don't exactly remember in which functions you will encounter this key. You have to go to the documentation and check. All right.
mhm, okay.
Now, what will we do? You see, we can, instead of just returning 1, we can return tuples also. So we can say x0 comma x1 comma x2. When you do that, then it will sort in the way which the question has asked. It will sort first on x1, then sort on it will first sort on x0, then it will sort on x1, and then it will sort on x2. You can change the order. You can say sort on x2 first, then x1, then x0. If you do that, then it will sort on x2 first, then it will prioritize x1, and then it will prioritize this last. Right? Any questions?
Oh, but in the question, it was not mentioned as this the what's that age and height. These are or age and score.
Yes, what
Age
was
and
not
height.
mentioned?
It was not mentioned as text. I thought that those will be numbers. This Tom
No, it is mentioned.
19.
You see, it is mentioned. It is
The
okay.
output is like this. Mm.
This is the output of the program. Okay, okay. Sorry. So if it is not string also, then also it will work. Sorry, I'm sorry.
And
If
then we can just make this as sorted list one itself. This will give the output. Right?
no, it will not. I'll show you. It is just 19. This is just 80. This is just 20. Just let me do it. This is just 90. This is 70, 91, 17, 93, 25. So you see, we have changed list 2 altogether. But when you
Mhm.
do this, it is not sorting. It is just sorting on the first elements. You see, this is not sorted, neither this is sorted. How it is not sorted, you see? Okay, it is
We
reverse
want to.
equals to 2. Okay, okay, reverse it is 2, right? So when you say list 2 and if you do this, you see, yeah, it is doing it. Okay, let me make Arjun as K something. I don't know, look, just let me do it Arjun, and I'll just make one more Arjun with the same name but different values. Say this is 81, and if I change it to 79, okay, it is working.
Mhm.
All right. So I guess it is giving priority to first, second, and third. But suppose we had changed the priority. We had given you first,
Mm.
then second, and then zero. Then it will be an issue.
Yes, yes,
All
yes,
right.
yes, yes. But anyway, this is very good for. I mean, mainly this index on the return x0, x1, x2. It's really interesting.
Yes. All right. So question 8 is also very easy. So what is
Yes.
the logic on question 8?
So we need to make sure that what I have done is I have taken two values, vertical distance and horizontal distance. Whenever it's go up, I'll add to the vertical. When it goes down, I'll minus on the vertical. Similarly, on the horizontal, when it goes right, add, and when it goes left, I'll subtract. And I take the two final values and then do square of two and square root of both the values and arrive at the final value.
Yes. Yes. That is it. What it is. All right. Very simple. This 9 is also very simple.
Yes, yes,
So 9 is also very simple. You just have to take number of cows, number of chickens, number of pigs, and then multiply it by the respective legs and then
yes,
return. All right.
yes.
And number 10, this we have discussed. Any discussion on number 10?
Yes, it was. I initially started on a different approach, but ended up somewhere else. But the program is working. It is still returning the correct values and position. But this was, as you have mentioned, this needs to be as a recursive function, and also you need to give a lower limit, upper limit, and x value. So I was a
So
little
we'll do
bit
this.
confused with the statement.
We'll do this. All right. So you see, we have a function called binary search, and we'll give some array. So I have an array here, right? Um, this array. We take this array, and this is sorted. So let me give it a sorted array. But okay, let me define one array. So I'll say a equals to, and I'll say anything we can say. So I can just do this d1 dot items, not items, keys, and we'll take this list. So let us work with this list. All right. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you're working with numbers, you can say you can have repeated elements also 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, and so on. The last element will be how many numbers are there. So over here, I have made the question a little bit confusing, but it is not actually. So everything is simple, but I have made the question actually a little bit confusing. What I have stated is this array have R elements, and R is actually the upper bound on the element. So suppose if this element is a number of, so if it is integers, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this upper bound can mean two things. It can either mean the maximum value in the list. Moreover, it can mean the index of the last element. So it is a little bit confusing in that way. Otherwise, everything is simple. All right. So this writing makes it a little bit confusing. What does it mean? You have to
Mm.
understand what it means. All right.
Yes.
So we can
Also,
work with numbers as well. Yes.
also I for the list input, I've also considered. I mean, I haven't considered one single character. I considered up to three characters, like AQ, X, BC, Z, TXE. So I put some random characters, and as it was not mentioning, like I think it's not I didn't take this as a single characters for the whole list. It may be
It
one
doesn't
character,
matter.
maybe two characters, maybe three, up to three characters, or I have taken as much as possible. So in these conditions, I mean, I worked out something, but the problem is when it two names, two elements starting with the same name, like CASE and CAST, then it will be a little bit difficult to find out where is the position, because almost everything will match, but only one last character won't match. So on that cases, it was a little bit difficult to find out which one is
I
closer.
think you're doing something wrong.
Mhm.
You see, when the element you are sorting it out, it will just
Mhm.
arrange in alphabetical order,
Mhm.
right? So suppose we have A1, again A1, sorry, again A1, and I have B1, B1 and B2, and I have one more A2. All right. Now, if you sort this out, so D, D,
Maybe on the last B2 and A2, maybe just add B2, B2C and A2C. Or,
anything else?
no, that's all.
All right. So if you do this, so you see it is sorting it properly. A1, A1,
Mhm.
A2C, B1, B1, B2C, C, D, E, F. Now, when you ask the user what is the target it is asking, so
Mhm.
suppose it is saying B2C, and you can have checking. So what do I mean by checking? You see, you can say B1 is greater than B2C. This check is there. It is false. So this will always come first than this. So this is actually lower. So when you say lower, then it will become true. So in this way, you can check.
If you don't mind, can you open my code? I have a test case. Maybe we can use that as a.
Sure.
Um,
Sure.
yes.
So this is the test case, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if your code becomes long, you can just give this and enter. It will work. All right.
Okay. Okay.
And say print. Now you see, you can just use these comparisons. So suppose you have
Mhm.
this example, this one. So you will write it over here and I'll write this over here. So you don't need to go individual character by character. You can just say if this is less than this and it will become true. Instead of this, if you say this is greater than this, it will become false. So you don't need to go character by character.
Oh, okay. I thought it will. Okay. I didn't know about this. Okay.
We have discussed this in our previous classes, by the way.
Actually, okay. Okay. I missed it. Okay, sir. I understood.
All right. So this is all for like assignment two. Yeah. So I'll take the attendance. Ashok is here. I don't know if he's here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.